Yo, grace and peace. Well, by now, if you've been on the internet for the last hour, you probably heard that Dr. Voddie Baucham just passed away. Very sad news. One, I just want to take the time to pray for his family, children, people close to him in his ministry, partners, things like that. Very sad. But we don't grieve without hope. I'm reminded of the Bible about that we do not grieve without hope. Though you've been impacted by Voddie, we know that he has peace with Christ and he is in the presence of the Lord, right? To be absent from the body is to be present for the Lord. And so, one, I want to acknowledge that and to be thankful of Voddie Baucham's impact on so many of you, myself included. I just want to take the time to give a kind of tribute of personal experience. And by the way, if you're watching this video, I think it'd be great if you share personal stories whether you met him personally or that you were impacted such by so many sermons of his, right? I remember listening to Voddie Baucham as a young Christian, coming out of Word of Faith theology and coming into more sound doctrine, right? And just, understanding some cultural aspects that, when I first started listening to Voddie, I was upset because he was teaching against the victimization that many, or let me say this, some Black people hold to. And I was listening to that and being a little upset, but understanding what he said was true, right? Understanding that what he was saying was true, and it made a deep, everlasting impact on my life as a young man, young Black man. And so just so many sermons I can think about, just his social issues, the social issues that he, expounded on, with a lot of the woke stuff, but understanding that man's dilemma is ultimately their sin problem is against God, Black or white. And I think this is a message that needs to be conveyed today, that whether you're white, Black, or Hispanic, you need to come to Christ, right? And so Voddie was, just impactful. I know a lot of people didn't like Voddie for certain reasons, right? But you know what? It's very impactful. Apologetically, I'm just thinking of sermons that he preached. Why the Bible can be trusted. Go look up that sermon. Go look up the sermon on the parable of the prodigal son. Those are great sermons that if you listen to, you would be impacted deeply. Voddie was a passionate preacher. Voddie was a very passionate preacher, and I'm thankful for his passion in preaching. And though this channel, right, we criticize a lot of preachers that happen to be Black, Voddie was one of the many Black preachers that I believe preach sound doctrine. Whether you agree with him or everything or not, that's beside the point. Voddie got the gospel right. He got the deity of Christ right. He got so much right. And he was a laborer. He worked very hard. Went and impacted not only in America, but in Africa. The brother was universal. He, impacted, started college, university, taught there at African universities. And I, for one, have met Voddie at least twice. Got to hear him preach once in person, and then another time he was at G3 Ministries. And he had a long line, so it was very short, just thanking him. Every time I met him, he's been very kind, very hospitable. And I have never heard of an instance where someone had a bad story when they met Voddie Baucham. A very large man, and a very intimidating man. But when you met him, was a very gentle man. It was very quite opposite of what his demeanor would kind of lead you to think. And so, share some stories of good encounters of where you met Voddie or have been impacted. I know I've already seen so many online since this. Again, take the time to pray for his family, for his ministry. It was sudden, Very sudden, right? Oftentimes I think about sometimes death is prepared for. Think of John MacArthur. Many people knew that it was coming. He had health issues, concern, and there was a preparedness, so to speak. Death, in some sense, is not something we can ever prepare for. You can never be very prepared to lose someone, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. But this was unexpected. Seemed to be some kind of medical emergency. Don't want to speculate about that out of respect for the family. But this has been a tough month for Christians, losing people that, you care about, who have been impactful. Think of MacArthur. A lot of people have great respects for Charlie Kirk, and now Voddie, and other people. I know people personally that have just died in the last few days. And so, but again, this is something we don't have to grieve without hope. And it's something that's going to happen to us all. But I'm thankful that we have so many sermons to go back and listen to. I encourage you this week to go and listen to a Voddie sermon. Even if you say, hey, look, he wasn't my flavor, I didn't really listen to a Voddie sermon. Matter of fact, man, you listening? Share your favorite Voddie sermon. Share the name of that title. Check the comments. Let people know. Go listen to one of the sermons that people are talking about. And so, again, I've shared a few. Man, rest in peace, brother Voddie Baucham. Again, this is one that many are grieving over. We want to be respectful during this time. But I'm just thankful for his legacy. Thankful for his labor in the gospel. And I'm reminded of, just some famous Voddieisms, right? Favorite Voddie quotes. If you can't say amen, say ouch, right? He was a funny guy. But more than his humor, he's going to be remembered for so much more than that. His exposition, his passion, and man, I in a sense lost for words. But I want to keep this video short, guys. Thank you for listening. Again, leave a comment in the comment section. Grace and peace.